Let's just go down the rabbit hole here for a second. Let's just assume this is some sort of adversarial or foreign technology.
Most of the more than 120 incidents over the past 2 decades are not from the U.S. military or other advanced U.S. government technology.
It's right in front of me. It disappeared. Like gone.
To be clear, he's referring to this giant object as a tic tac, because he said it was shaped like one.
We're in, that we don't know what these things are, and they might even be extraterrestrial. That's worse.
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins here. We got a special report for you today. We're keeping a close eye on SpaceX. They did a launch. They're sending out satellites. And during those launches, people have their eyes peeled, but so do we right here at Third Phase of Moon. And we're going to share with you tonight some of the things that we observed in real time. So I went ahead and grabbed a screen-o-matic of the screen itself as it was going live. And I was seeing things that I couldn't explain. And we're so lucky that we captured it and we enhanced the video. So we're going to be going over some of the things that happened today in regards to the anomalies. Is SpaceX deliberately covering up the UFO evidence? It seems at points in this video, and it happens over and over again, that they cut the feed when something pops up on camera or they switch to another angle. And that's exactly what happened today. Brent's been doing some enhancements as well, and we're putting it into the system so we can share this live right now on Third Phase Moon. We're doing a whole bunch of things at the same time. We're actually, mosquitoes are coming in. It's Hawaii, man. We live in the Big Island, and the doors are open. So if you see me slapping something here, it's just the tropical paradise that we live in. But once again, what we saw today was quite interesting. And like I'm saying, is there a deliberate cover-up of the phenomenon? Let's bring it in. We're also going to bring in you, the public, if you guys want to join us in some of the opinions that you guys might have. So I'm going to drop that link in right now. Again, we're open to anybody to call in if they have an opinion on the evidence and hear their side of the story. We're also bringing in panel member Dr. J from Dr. J Radio Live. I invited him on the show tonight to ask him his opinions of what we're about to share. So let's roll it. Let's get into the first video right here. Take a look at this. This happened just hours earlier today. We're on top of the breaking news. Watch.
Expect a loss of signal for Amita.
There it is. The signal was just lost, or they just cut to the feed, but something popped up for a split second. You may have missed it, and you have to have an eagle eye for some of these UFOs because it happens so fast. Watch once again. There's something that comes into frame for just a split second. It hangs there, and then they cut the feed, and I'm taking a pause picture of this right now, and we're looking at it. There's something anomaly. It's an anomaly right now. Some people might call it the return of the Black Knight. We could see some geometric shapes on this craft. Again, it just comes into frame for a split second, and they cut to the next feed. But again, we're getting a really, really good close-up look. Guys, I want to get your opinions. What do you think we're looking at here? Some people might say that this isn't ice particle, but look again as I do some more enhancements. I do a little bit of forward and reverse. It just kind of comes into screen at a fast rate of speed. You know, if something were to come in at 30,000 miles an hour, you really wouldn't be able to see the craft moving. You'd be able to see it stop. But at 30,000 miles an hour, traversing by you, basically it'd be so fast you wouldn't even be able to catch it. But this thing might have just parked, like you kind of see in the Star Wars movies when they kind of hit light speed and then they come out of it and then just park. This is what that's kind of reminding me of a little bit. Again, a really good close-up look. So I'm kind of digging this stuff. Let's bring in Dr. J from Dr. J Radio Live, and let's get his thoughts. Welcome to the show, Dr. J. Good to be with you.
Always a pleasure, Blake.
So what did you get to see what we've just been showing?
Again,
it only lasted for a split second, but if you're dealing with propulsion that is otherworldly, like something out of a Star Wars movie, doesn't it kind of remind you of when the ships kind of jump out of light speed into normal space and time?
Yes, absolutely. And as I was watching it the first time, and then again the second time as you showed it, firstly we have to ask, well, is it, ours? Is it some sort of space drone, or is it something that's not a space drone using technology coming from something else? And then if it is something else, meaning ET, is this a craft? Is it a drone? Or what if it is, as you mentioned, the Dark Knight satellite, a satellite that's been going around for 10,000 years? So like you said, it's very short that you see it, but at the same time, it begs the question, is it short because the SpaceX or the IHSS is trying to make sure that we're not seeing this and that's why they flip off? Or why is this craft wanting to show itself to us? These are all questions that I've been wondering since I just saw this.
Absolutely. Happy Gaze. Thanks. This is our pleasure bringing you these great shows on a daily basis, pretty much. When the evidence comes in right here at Third Phase of Moon, we want to get it out as fast as possible. I think this is kind of our mission at Third Phase of Moon. And again, this launch just happened earlier. I don't think really anybody's seen this before, even though we have hundreds of thousands of people watching these launches. I have not seen a report on this anomaly. And again, could it just be a glitch? Are we possibly just looking at a digital glitch? Let's watch it again. Again, this doesn't look pixelated as a pixel would look. They're kind of come in squares. This seems to have like an angle, like a triangle effect to it, and you almost see shading. Look at it as it just pops in there, and it just kind of sticks, and then the feed, they cut the feed. I do a little reverse and forward, see if we can see it leave or as it comes into frame, but again, it only lasted for a few seconds, and then NASA cut the feed. So, man, are they up to their tricks? We've seen them cut it before, right?
NASA, and you've seen this, you've shown this multiple times over at least a decade, ever since they started streaming live on the International Space Station, or basically everything. So you guys are constantly showing stuff live before they cut it out. This thing, I don't think it's a camera artifact, Blake. It's too defined. The way it moves from the darkness of space over Earth, it looks like it's an object that's in front of the planet, but behind whatever this booster is. So my take is that it's not a camera artifact, considering we've all seen plenty of examples. And not to mention, this is 4K. We're not shooting in 1080 or 250, whatever it was 20, 30 years ago.
Let's bring in Mr. Koosh. He comes in from the UK. I guess we're streaming a little. I'm not sure what time it is over there, but sometimes I like some of his opinions. Again, I've never met Mr. Koosh, but he said a couple things the other night on the show, and I kind of liked what he had to say. Welcome to the show. What's your thoughts on this anomaly? You there,
well,
Mr.
the anomaly
Koosh?
is very odd how it just appears a split second, but I was going to touch on the contracts with SpaceX. The reason why they couldn't disclose. Can you hear me?
Yep. You're bouncing it a little bit in and out, but we
Okay,
got
yeah,
you.
I was
pretty
just wondering, the contracts with SpaceX, yeah, right, and NASA, of course, they would have to cut the feeds if they do that, because one reason is if they lose a contract, they lose their money.
Why would they lose their money if they show UFOs to the public? You're saying that
Because of how the
SpaceX
contract would have been written, because it's they got to use NASA's launch pads, haven't they? NASA's not going to let them use their launch pads without terms and conditions.
So obviously there are these I'm sure even though they say they're streaming it live that there are these delays feed at least a few seconds. They're doing this for obviously in case maybe an accident or maybe a UFO national security level. So Mr. Gooch, so you're thinking in the contract SpaceX is required to cut the feed if there's any kind of evidence or any kind of UFO that appears on cameras, and they could lose the contract?
Well, it's possible if you think about it from a logical point of view. We know NASA's been shading out stuff from NASA for years in off space. Like,
let's bring this up. There's another video. It actually happened the same day, and I just kept watching and
stuff. Anything that gets launched has to go through NASA.
What I would say about that real quick is I completely agree with Mr. Kush, but I think things have sort of changed because we have a monopoly now. It's not necessarily NASA. Before Elon Musk started taking NASA astronauts, we all three of us know that Elon Musk was using SpaceX platforms to launch into space. So I think it is a little bit of both. I'm not surprised, though, that Elon Musk would toe the line and not show what he's found on his own either.
So as the mission continued, moments later, I think right before they
Possibility.
dispersed,
We don't know what they're hiding.
True. Yeah.
so right before they dispersed the satellite, and this is their mission to bring in some internet over Africa, over some of the regions that really have a poor internet service, and they're actually Elon is putting these satellites up everywhere. So right before they launched that, I was seeing some anomalies that came in. So let's just play that real quick. Watch
which is
this.
scheduled to take place about a minute from now. As previously mentioned, the Nowsat 301 is one of the latest generations of high-tech satellites with technical and broadcast capabilities, excelling all previous Egyptian satellites. Adding on to current coverage locations, the satellite will have the ability to operate 40 transponders covering new regions such as the Nile Basin countries and Southern Africa. In addition to providing broadband internet all over Egypt, Nowsat 301 will be capable of frequency maneuvering, anti-jamming, and geolocating the source.
Payload deploy confirmed.
And there you have it. We've received and see on screen successful separation of the Nilesat 301 satellite from Falcon 9's second stage. With that, we are going to be bringing our webcast to a close. We're going to take some.
Okay, so there were some anomalies that popped up. People may have missed what was seen there. So what I did is I kind of edited that whole portion and went after the anomalies that seemed out of place. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. Let's watch this.
Time to thank the Nilesat team for entrusting us with today's mission. And of course, to all of our viewers, if you're interested in more things and more updates about SpaceX, tune into our social media channels for all things SpaceX. Thanks again, and we'll see you very shortly.
If somebody's playing this in the background on the TV, can you turn it down just a bit? But right here, this is in real time. I'm noticing this object right here up on the top of the booster, and it's kind of out of place. But then we have another one on the bottom left. One was moving from right to left. Now this is from left to right. So we had those anomalies. And then when this thing was launched, we're having even more of these anomalies. They're going in opposite directions in just seconds apart. So it's kind of interesting. If it's the same object, this thing is changing directions within moments in real time. Again, there was it on the bottom, then up on the top, and now back on the bottom portion again. Could it be just space debris? Possibly, but it's interesting that it keeps changing directions. Then I noticed something quickly that just traversed across the screen there, and I did some enhancements. But again, what do you make of this, Dr. J?
Oh, I think all of it's amazing. First of all, the slow-moving craft, whether it be two separate incidents or one craft that's in two different places, is very interesting because of the shape. It is glowing, which also goes in line with Bob Lazar said years ago, but it's just going very slow. The other thing, the fast-moving object, that wasn't the only one, but that was the first one I caught. Then after that, it seemed that a couple more things. It reminds me of the tether incident. Do you remember that in the 90s? When they had a tether towing, I don't know if it was a satellite, it broke. All these craft appear. What is going so fast? Not just from left to right, but from up and down, you know, a couple seconds after that one incident. So I think this is very good footage.
So watch this. Right when it launches the satellite, something, boom, just goes right by the screen there. So I enhanced this over and over again. Watch as I slow it down. Something comes up and then takes a right. Boom. It up and then takes a right. It almost is like a 90-degree. You guys seeing this?
If there was a pilot in there, it would kill. Every bone would be crushed.
Yeah, again, it only lasts for a split second, but there's a lot of things going on within this moment when I was enhancing it. There's things coming. It goes up to right, and then there's another thing that just kind of like is shooting across as well. So this is a really bizarre stuff. Mr. Kush, what's your thoughts here?
On those ones you enhanced, you got the one shooting to the right very fast, but if you look carefully on the two lower ones, it actually makes a little X pattern like they cross through each other.
Yeah, just really bizarre stuff. We have like these you know,
looks like
it's a
dust or
go ahead
stuff coming up it.
Just joining us, we have just one more major milestone coming up to complete today's mission, which of course is deployment of the NowSat 301 payload that you see on screen right now from the top of Falcon 9's second stage, which is scheduled to take place about a minute from.
So we have these anomalies that are just kind of like, there's one up on the top, there's one on the left, and then it's up on the top again, and they're going in opposite directions. And then you have these things that are just firing across this satellite in real time. Again, I don't think a lot of people witness this in real time, but we kind of have this eagle eye when we're looking at this stuff. So again, is NASA trying to hide something? It seems Mr. Kush is saying if they capture it on camera, cut the feed, go to the other shot, don't let the public see it. And if you see it, you're going to lose your contract. So I always wonder, because these live shows, when they launch these rockets, why are we not seeing like the crystal clear UFO video? And in my opinion, either they're hiding from the cameras or they're purposely hiding it from us. What do you think, Dr. J? Are they hiding from the cameras, or are they just,
Blake, this is so ironic you just asked me that, because the last note I just wrote, I'm not kidding, as I just watched this, we've seen a lot of these lately, right? We know they have the ability to make themselves invisible. So why now are they showing us themselves more so? You're right, we're not seeing clear craft, but that one that went up very fast, 90-degree turn to the right, if there was a human in there, they'd be so destroyed. I mean, there'd be splatter of blood all over the wall. Their bones would be dust. But again, it begs the question, why are they showing up when we both know they can stay hidden from radar, from video, from basically everything that we have to watch them? So I wonder if they're trying to make us more used to them now than ever. But again, what if this is actually human technology? Then that begs the question even more. Why would they show us classified tech?
I want to thank Steven for the $4.99 super sticker. All the support helps. Appreciate it. Mr. Kush, any last words? That was kind of the evidence we have today. There's some things that are happening in real time. Brent was just tapping me saying, like, there's something we got to get on with new information we're going to be presenting tomorrow. So, guys, I appreciate it. Mr. Kush, what's your thoughts? Cover up, guaranteed? They're too afraid to show us what's really going on in space.
See, here's the thing. If we have been told about it, people will be scared if they show themselves, right? Maybe it's a conditioning purpose. We can see them for short periods to condition us.
Well, I think we shared some things that are anomalies, and hopefully we could get some answers. And again, there is a lot of people that are watching this in real time, and nobody sent me any footage of this SpaceX. And well, I did get one email today. So there's one email that said, hey, look at it. And they noticed what we're noticing. But it's pretty incredible that a lot of people miss things while these launches are happening. So I urge you, when these SpaceX launches or NASA, they make mistakes. They're not perfect. They're human. And that's what we captured today. Even though they try to hide it from us, we're there catching it and sharing it to you in real time. So, guys, I appreciate you joining us. We're hearing that notifications have been kind of lacklustered for some reason. Why people aren't getting notified from YouTube as we're doing this. So just double check that you're notified and have that bell on all notifications. But right now, we're only hearing that 6% of you are getting notifications from YouTube. So we're going to be talking to YouTube about that. We feel that our 800,000 subscribers, or we're just right about getting to that, should be all notified at once. Could you imagine when we break the news with 800,000 people around the world watching at the same time? That's the stuff we want. We earned the subscriptions. We didn't buy any subscriptions. All of them are just people like you from around the world. So we feel our subscriptions, we've earned them over the years, doing this for about 14 years now, that YouTube should set that notification to 100%, not 6%. Guys, be safe out there. Blake Cousins, thanks, Mr. Kush. Thanks, Dr. J, for joining us. Be safe. We'll see everybody next time.